What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Geeks and Around. I am your executive producer, Deanna Jackson. We are, of course, here gathered once again to discuss episode 402 of The Walking Dead, Infected. This is an interesting episode. I'm looking forward to getting into this. Joining me, of course, co-host Matt Moore. What's going on, man?
Hey, sorry for missing last week. I had a lot of stuff going on.
Hey, things happen. It's just good to see you back in the saddle, so to speak. Associate host Todd Grundle, what's up, man?
Good. I actually much better this week.
Oh, God. You mean you and I are going to agree on something? Oh, fuck.
Oh, God. The end of the world.
Yeah, the no good can come of this. Isaiah, how you doing today, man?
I'm great, man. I'm great. How about you?
It's been an interesting day. That's all I can say for it. Mike Banks, last but not least, what's up, man?
What's up?
Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. It's like as we left last episode, we saw Patrick in a very bad situation, having died from whatever flu or weird infection is going on. And was this like the first stealth zombie ever?
The first
Pretty
stealth zombie. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like he walked up to that dude and just went straight for the throat, killing the guy making no noise at all.
Exactly.
I don't know, because I was thinking about season 1 where Carol's husband got killed by a stealth zombie, but that's a little bit of mulligan there. But yeah, this is a really quiet zombie. Very quiet.
Yeah, it's like just casually just strolled down the block as like he was making a selection at a cafeteria or something like that.
Yeah, and
it's like, no. That smells tasty. Let me go and see what's in here. Ooh, yummy.
And why was everyone's door open? I mean, I know it's supposed to be free and everyone can go in and out, but if I was me, I would kind of close my door at night. Like, I don't know.
It's possible when those doors close, they lock.
Hey,
that would be bad.
You know,
I'll
it
be
is
okay
a
with
prison,
the locks.
so.
Yeah, I'll be okay with the
Well, they
locks.
got the key. They got all the keys.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I'm thinking if some shit went down and you had to get out, I'm quicker is better than slower.
Sure.
But I kind of understand where you're coming from. It's like, I mean, yeah, it would probably be safer to keep the doors closed, but
At least like
I wouldn't
the
think about that.
block doors, not like the individual doors. At least the block doors. That way it don't spread to the whole jail.
Agreed. Or something, but it's like so one stealth zombie kill later, and the next day we have ourselves a major problem.
Yeah, it took out. It looked like at least 20 people.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But it's all good because I didn't know any of them anyway.
I was about to say,
Exactly.
but no main cast members.
Yeah,
Who gives a fuck?
it was like, yeah, this new person I didn't know dead. Oh, that sucks. So look at this other new person here I didn't know dead. Oh, and this other new person, he's not only dead, but he left 2 little girls that I don't know.
Right, like, who gives
And
a fuck? Like,
I'm crying on the inside.
I wasn't crying. I was like, yay, he's dead. We get more character development from other characters. Yay.
Yeah,
I'm
because
cold.
no. It's like, I mean, that's a good point because character development is always something that this show has struggled with, and I was really worried about with them having so large of a cast here, how they would be able to manage that. It's like, I mean, we obviously still have our main crew, you know, the council or whatever they want to call themselves. But it's like we have them. But there's so many other characters. It's like I didn't want to get into all this, getting into all of them and trying to pretty much spread themselves too thin on the character development side.
Right.
Well,
I think that's our job, I think.
And the one person I expected to die didn't end up dying because of the fact that you start the show with Tyrese and his girl. I don't even know her name.
Oh,
Being
she's
all cuddly and like I
Karen.
love you and I don't think they actually said that, but I mean they were being close, and I'm all like, okay, one of them's gonna die, and it's not gonna be Tyrese.
One of
As
them
soon as
did
he started singing, I'm like, oh, she gone. She done. She done.
Yeah.
They
It's
too
gonna be
happy.
him or the black guy.
They too happy.
Either one
They
of
too
them.
happy.
There's 2 black people on screen. Like, one of these black people got to die first. Like, which one's gonna die?
Yeah, pretty much.
We knew it wasn't going to be Tyrese from the get-go.
Yeah,
Right,
because
'cause he's
he
such a
hasn't done
They
anything
could not
significant
do
yet.
that. You can't bring
Well,
Tyrese in and then take him away 2 episodes later. It's just, it would be a revolt.
Well, he hasn't done nothing much. He's became a little bitch, really, bitching and moaning and being a pussy. But that's just me.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he's
like,
not like his comic book character at all.
well, yeah, it's like I think it's going to take time for him to build up to that. It's like because in the show we're introduced to Tyrese much later than he was introduced in the comic books. So even his the dynamics of his friendships are very different than they originally were. It's like, I mean, like in the comic books, Tyrese was pretty much Rick's right hand man, but they haven't known each other long enough to foster that kind of that kind of same friendship that they have in the comic books.
They hardly know each other now.
Exactly.
Right.
And I actually think that's a little bit interesting.
But I think last week we decided that his redemption was going to be, like, that's why they're making him such a wussy, so that when he finally does show himself as Tyrese, it'll be like a big impact.
Better be.
Yeah, it could be their attempted character development. Is like, fingers crossed. We'll see how this whole thing goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say it's like I do like how say Michonne is developing as a character.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
actually liking that a lot.
Yeah, same here. I love that scene with her.
I like the twist they did on her comic character, because I'm pretty sure they're implying now that she has a daughter or a child, has had a child that she lost. And I think that's really cool, because her old motivation, I always thought was weak, the background to Michonne in the comics.
Hmm.
So I like this a lot better.
Yeah, so do I.
We'll expand on that a little bit. It's like go into her motivations in the comic book for our viewers that might not be aware.
It's basically like she just was a normal person with a normal job, and she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend's, she had like a semi-slackerish boyfriend, and when the zombie thing came, it took her boyfriend and his brother or something, or his best friend.
That was her husband.
Her was it her
ex-husband.
husband?
It was her ex-husband and her boyfriend, I think.
I thought it was her boyfriend and her boyfriend's best friend, and it was just, and that was it. It was a very simple, not much backstory. And she traveled forever with them, and then met this group.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like,
Very
I mean,
vague.
so I'm curious if they're actually gonna get into that about the significance of her two pets that she was introduced with. Most of us here, I think, we know pretty much who they were. It's like, I mean, or at least if they're still staying in the same vein as the comic book, there, it's like we know who they were, but that's not something that they've even mentioned or brought up ever again ever since she was forced to kill them early last season.
Did she say something to Andrea or somebody last season that she picked them up along the way? Because I think I remember something like
That was
that.
Andrea. That was Andrea and her when he's in the forest. It was very vague too, very vague. But the zombies and their purpose. So again, we might tap into that like down the road, like her character and her backstory.
I think so
change it.
for sure. Especially now with this baby scene, I really think we're gonna get into her this season.
Yeah.
And I'm liking her a lot more towards the end of last season, now coming into this season, because at first I wasn't too fond on her because
Yeah.
just like Tyrese, she's not coming as big of a bang as the comic characters were, but she's growing on me definitely,
Same here.
big time.
This is a little off topic, but during the break I ended up reading the book The Rise of the Governor, and it tells the story of how he ended up coming to Woodbury, and that involved, at least for a little bit, traveling with his zombie daughter. And so she's not the only one who's walked around with a zombie as pets.
Right.
I don't think I don't think the governor had zombie daughter around for the same reason that Michonne had her zombie pets about.
That's true.
Yeah, but you know what? I actually have a theory. Maybe I'll save it for the while, because I actually think that they might. No, maybe not. Like, 'cause this is supposed to be an alternate timeline, an alternate universe,
Yes.
essentially. I think that the governor in this show is actually the governor's brother, because in the book, Matt, right? Isn't it correct? I didn't read the book, but I heard that in that book he takes on the name, the one with the long hair and the eye patch, takes on the name of his brother, who was actually Philip Blake.
That is actually a theory, and it is possible. but because they kind of leave it open that maybe it wasn't the brother that died. Maybe it was.
In the book, they do that.
Yeah, they kind of leave it open for interpretation.
I'm thinking the show, it's the brother. Like I'm thinking he never dies, and that's the governor we know in the show because that's why he's so different from the one in the comic.
Right.
Just my little theory.
It's an interesting thought. Has some
Well, it
validity
goes
to
into
it.
Bob Stuckey, and that's why, because I have a feeling that would make then that would like be why he uses Bob Stuckey, because Bob Stuckey is clearly not the same guy he was in the comic, because in the comic he was his medical man in Woodbury, and we didn't see him.
Right.
So now Bob Stuckey is someone he met on the road. So maybe Bob Stuckey's a code name he has this guy use to infiltrate the prison, and it's a name of somebody he knew in his past.
Possibly, yeah.
Conspiracy theories now. Sorry.
Because Bob Stuckey was a great friend. Well, he was close friends with the governor in the comic book, so there's likelihood that this Bob Stuckey in the TV show could be connected to the governor. So anything's very possible, and pretty much he looks shady from afar. Very shady.
All right, wait a second. Which one on the show? Which one's Bob?
Bob is the alcoholic who had the shelf fall on him.
The bald black guy.
The one who caused the Big Lot implosion of the ceiling.
Right.
Huh.
The
And,
skinny black guy.
Yeah. The very who can't do nothing black guy.
But I'm disappointed because in all of the press, they've been ruining it. They've been saying who he is, and they've been saying. So I'm not really speculating as to whether he's bad or not, because they've flat out said it, and I kind of am annoyed by that because they've always been pretty good about not spoiling things.
Oh, I haven't paid attention to none of those, so
And
I'm lucky.
I have to apologize. You are correct, Todd. I was getting the TV show storyline mixed up with the book storyline, and it got confused in my head. You're right. It was Brian who survived, and he called himself Philip. In the book, I mean.
Yeah, too many storylines going around. It's pretty easy to get them confused.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, but now it's like after the carnage is all said and done, the group at least figures out what's going on by examining Patrick's body. It's like I was afraid of how long they would kind of draw out this whole thing before they found out about the infection.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know The Walking Dead kind of likes to draw things out for as long as it possibly can with no particular resolution for 8 fucking episodes.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
That was
they would
10
have
seasons
figured
ago,
it
and
out
I'm
after
still
the
bad
second
about that.
person. They would have figured it out after one more person, no matter what.
Right. But it was quick about it, though. It was very quick on how they they knew what was causing all this people getting sick and everything. They know what caused it, but don't know how it started, though. So that was really good. That was really good on the writers and the crew. That was really good on the writers' part.
We got an Indian guy. Sorry.
Oh, you go ahead. You're right. Yeah, Indian guy.
Yeah, I was happy because it was the first Indian guy, I think, in The Walking Dead.
Until he dies.
That's what Caleb, I think his name is.
Of course. They can't just give him an Indian name. They've got to call him Caleb.
Yeah, I'm calling him Caleb because I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the last name.
Okay.
Subramanian?
Isn't Caleb like a southerner name, like a southern name?
It was in Georgia, so yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, good point. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And Caleb could very well be short for something very, very Indian.
Longer.
You never know. It's like I'm not even sure if they've actually said his name on the show. It's like I'm just looking at the wiki.
There's some guy. I just call him some guy. He's gonna die anyways, so who cares?
At the rate they're going, good God, you never know. But all of a sudden, it's like it looks like Michonne's hunt for the governor is taking a little bit of a break right now, with her injury. That it's like, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like I
I know why she want to look for the government. I mean, he is still a danger out there. He still could come back. That's one of the big issues she can't look for. But that's getting a little bit old, a little bit, because we haven't seen her in her adventures yet. When she was trying to look for the governor, so that to me that got a little old, a little
Well, that's
bit.
not even what that's not even what I'm talking about. It's like I'm just not buying the fact that Michonne gets overwhelmed by two walkers
Oh, that too.
that she
That was
sees
kinda,
coming.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was
you're
kind of
right on
strange.
that. That bothered me
Yeah,
a bit.
Yeah.
she could have pulled out that sword in that time
Easily.
quite
Yeah.
easily.
It's like, I mean, I could see if there was like more of a crowd or they rushed her and she didn't see them coming. She's
Yeah,
looking
but
directly at them. She has her sword. She got off her horse for the specific purpose of dealing with them. And you're telling me that two walkers can overwhelm Michonne?
They had to give some
please.
kind of reason for her to get hurt, some kind of way.
Yeah, but that was kind of weak though. Like she could handle two zombies easily.
Yeah, we've seen her do it. We've seen her handle entire crowds of zombies and not care. We've seen her kill a zombie while handcuffed to a post.
Speaking of crowds of zombies, it's a theme of getting these zombies getting smarter and stealthier, and they just getting like superpowers nowadays. I'm telling you,
Makes you think about it. Yeah,
agents of zombies or something.
I would watch that. Oh, that sounds actually interesting.
Oh God! Please don't give him any ideas. I'm so tired of like. So it's like I already know that they're making noise about a spinoff of The Walking Dead, which
Unfortunately,
I already don't agree with. Let's not give him any ideas about what to put on that, shall we? I think that's about the last damn thing we need right now.
I was gonna say not only that, but I think it was the DC universe that did the zombie Elseworlds, not Marvel.
No, it was
So it'd be
Marvel.
more
No, it's
like
Marvel.
Zombie
It's
Incorporated.
Marvel Zombies.
Marvel Zombies
Oh,
was a big hit.
And it was an
Yeah.
awesome series.
Yeah, first,
Oh.
It really
first and
was.
second issues. Yeah, crazy.
I
Yeah.
think I just remember a DC version.
Yeah, DC is doing it as well. It's like, I mean, it's not exactly new territory, but I really enjoyed the Marvel Zombies series.
That was
And
perfect.
for any of you guys watching that have not picked up any episodes of Marvel Zombies, like, trust me, just go to a comic book shop and ask about it. You'll see what I mean. It's
Pick
like,
up Army of
they're all
Darkness
great.
versus Pick up Army of Darkness versus Marvel Zombies. That's a good book too.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to look for that.
The things they come up with, I'm telling you.
Was Ash vs. Marvel Zombies, was that like officially in canon? Like, was that the ending of that series?
I would say that's
God, I don't remember.
I think there's an alternate situation because I think it got a little iffy on that last.
Yeah, I
part.
was thinking it was an alternate. That would have been a really great ending, though. That would have just topped the whole thing off. Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, okay. All right, viewers, we're back from that tangent. I'm sorry. We're geeks. That's going to happen. Forgive
Right.
us. All right, so getting back into things, like one of the last people to die from this was one of the other characters whose name I can't remember. Ryan, yeah, Ryan. This other new guy who I had never seen before until he was dying.
Right.
And it's like, hey, Carol tried. At first, it looked like he was just bitten on his arm. She was going to cut that off, and then it was like, oh, well, he's bitten on the neck too. Well, that plan isn't going to work.
Well, she was ready to amputate her arm anyway. She said, "Oh, I can amputate her arm today! Yay!" And she saw the back of her neck like, "Oh, no amputation today." Aw.
Yeah, she was gonna amputate that fat ass arm with a 3-inch blade knife.
Right.
Speaking
That
of
was
that
controversial.
3-inch blade knife, she gonna just like pinch him in the head as supposed to kill him? That was jacked
No,
up.
in the neck. She stabbed him in the neck.
Yeah. I thought it was the ear though.
I think she tried to sever the spine.
Ew. Wow, I like Carol now even more.
Yeah, and that would have worked. So
Also, there's another guy who turned into a walker. He locked himself in because he was a sleepwalker, by the way. I forgot that guy's name, but that was kind of interesting.
oh yeah, who the fuck was that? It seems like all these damn new people, it's like they have names, but
I just call him that sleepwalker guy because he was sleepwalking when he died. Like, I'm sleepwalking, I'm gonna lock myself in. Okay, cool. That's a good zombie.
hmm. Well, yeah. Anyways, so it's like that fool died. So now his daughters, who names I'm not even gonna bother trying to look up because, let's be honest, I'm not expecting them to live very long.
Well, yeah, they were kind of stupid. Well, one was stupid.
I don't know. Like they have it to where Carol is supposedly taking care of these two kids, but isn't the general storyline that Maggie and Glenn are kind of going to become the caretakers over time? Like
No.
in theory.
It seems like they're adjusting that.
Well, based on the comic, yes, but it's after things. It's after they become the only other option, essentially, because Carol goes lesbian crazy for Lori and wants to have
Yeah.
a three-way relationship, marriage type of deal with Rick and Lori.
Lori. That
And
was
then she-
interesting.
Pretty much goes friggin' crazy.
Because she lost her man as well, thanks to Michonne.
I think it's safe to say that none of that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and who her man wasn't that? Who was her man? I forgot.
Tyrese.
It was Tyrese. All right, yeah. So
Yes.
Carol was banging Tyrese. Michonne got Tyrese, and then Carol wanted a lesbian relationship, a three-way relationship with Rick and Lori.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we shouldn't try and compare it to the comic book, but it's difficult not to. It's just
Right.
yeah.
Well, I really think they're following, though, in a way, like the alternate reality rules. Where there's death, there's always death. I watched Men in Black 3 last night. So,
Wow.
yeah, where there's death, there's always death. And I think that even though the characters don't exactly go down the same paths, they sort of end up in the same ways. Like, you know, perhaps Carol is... Because, look, they're doing this whole knife... This whole... Is Carol unstable kind of subplot going on. And, you know, I think maybe they might go there in a different way. She's obviously not going to try to have a sex relationship, but, you know, things.
I don't know. Maybe she'll try something with Michonne and Rick now. You never know. I'm just kidding. It's probably. I just.
It makes you
But no, I truly think that Carol right now might be the most sane person in this group.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, she's the only one who has her priorities straight. She's all like, yeah, take care of myself, take care of the people, and teach these kids how to fight because eventually they're going to need to. And Rick's not stepping up, so I'm going to.
Well, Rick's kind of busy with other things, but I can see where you're going at because I think that's
Rick's intentionally busy with other things. He's keeping himself busy with other things, so he won't have to go out there and hunt.
Yeah.
right.
But did anyone think they were implying that it was Carol who did that deed at the end with the bodies?
I don't see no. I don't see no implication of that.
No, because she's
But
not.
the bodies are $1 million question to me, though. I mean, were they already turning, or did they just get rid of them before they even had a chance to turn, or get sick?
Yeah. I always thought it was. I thought that was who. I thought it was like someone else in the group, like say, for example, Rick. I thought he did it, but that wouldn't be his MO at times.
Yeah, he about saving lives.
It wouldn't be his MO at any time.
Oh, you never know. He can go a little crazy now and then.
Nah.
I think
Yeah,
Lori
for
did.
a reason.
Yeah, he had a snap. He got a snap again. Ain't nothing making him snap. So
Exactly. But
You need the governor to come back.
even at his worst, it's like I don't think that dragging two people out behind the prison, pouring gasoline on them and setting them on fire, that just is not a Rick thing. I don't
Only
think how
way-
crazy he was.
only way that does become a Rick thing if they threaten like his daughter or his son. Then it's going to be a Rick thing.
Okay,
Besides,
yeah, I can
Rick
see
was-
that happening.
Rick
Yeah.
was killing pigs.
Right.
I mean, but that was one you couldn't eat. I mean, it wasn't safe to eat the pig. They thought it wasn't safe.
The baby
And then
gone
two, that was to save the gate. I'll sacrifice some pigs and stay at the house.
hmm Yeah,
Right.
no doubt.
And the other pig got sick, so I mean, it's no telling what's wrong with them pigs. And I called it last week. I must say, I news it. I news it.
So I thought it was implied that whoever burned these bodies was the same person who might be feeding the zombies at the gate.
I thought that too at first, and
I'm
then
calling Carl.
I
keeping
said
with
Carol.
It's Carl. I'm going
I say
with Carl.
Bob. I say Bob Sookie.
See, that's who I thought was feeding the rats. I think Bob's feeding the rats. I thought Bob burnt the bodies to create some kind of more
Disarray.
drama, disarray. But then at the last minute, it just got me. I said, "Oh wait, maybe that was knives. That whole knife subplot is just a precursor to, it doesn't look like she's going too far, but look what she's really doing. She's actually taking those bodies, burning them without telling anybody, because we already see she's doing that. She's teaching those kids without telling the parents."
I
Yeah,
spoke to some other people today, and they thought that the older girl, was the one feeding them, because they were naming them before.
Oh.
So I mean, that's what their prediction was.
Oh, you mean the stupid girl who I
Yeah.
claim?
That's a good thought.
She was crying over a walker too. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? He's still a walker. You named him, which was so stupid. What?
But he has a name tag on, so all of them neat names.
Oh God. And her little sister was right too. She's not broken. She's just crazy. You think?
The little one got more sense than the older one.
Right. It was like,
I ain't going near her.
The problem I have with the Carol theory is that if you make it Carol, you're taking something away from Daryl again.
Yeah, but that's look. I mean, they are giving Daryl the savior's treatment. He's friggin' here. Take this kid, Daryl. Take this, curly-haired,
Jesus.
freckle-faced kid. Quick, save him. Every episode they're making the panties wet. They're doing all they can to achieve that goal.
yeah, the fans love Daryl very much.
So yeah, I think to take more away from him would just fit that character. He's got to lose everything over and over and over again.
Think so?
Well,
I think so.
He lost his brothers. I think that's a big enough takeaway there. But
Yeah, but his brother was a dick, and even I know it was his brother, but I don't know.
You're
His
still
brother wasn't
right.
very lovable.
see, I have a list of people who you can't really kill on this show without killing the show, and Carol is not on it, but she's almost on it.
Yeah.
Which means which actually makes her more likely to die because she's almost on the do not kill list, if that makes sense.
Well, someone's dying. I really think it's happening next episode, because look at how small our core group is now,
Yeah.
and we've got all these
Are
new
you talking
people.
like a major character or one of these?
Yeah,
new
I'm
people?
thinking one of our core group is gonna die next week.
I think it's gonna be through sickness, though. I don't think it's gonna be through zombie.
Right. Through this thing, there's a bullet. There's one bullet in the chamber right now.
It's a long shot, but I called Michonne since she, snapped her leg. So I mean, I thought it would be. And I know I don't want it, but I mean.
I say Tyree's
jacked
sister.
up.
Because we don't know her that much. You're like, hey, he has a sister. He does? Yeah, she's right there. Oh, she's gonna die.
No,
Yeah.
I think she's gonna be
Could be
something
bad.
involved with his resurgent as a badass. She'll die later by a zombie or by the governor. When
I
he
think
finally
by
does
sickness.
his.
It may be
I don't
Maggie
know.
too. Maybe Maggie too, because Glenn took a picture of her, and that picture might be, this memento to keep her around.
That's a good
Or
point.
alive.
I think
That
they
would
need
be
to kill
interesting.
off the entire white cast except for Rick, and make it where there's only one white guy in the entire show for 3 seasons.
That's a stretch,
Good luck with
but
that one.
But then
What about
going by
Carl?
the past rules, we go by the rules of the past seasons. If you do that, then the cast is going to change every episode there on out.
It sounds
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
gonna be
Exactly.
Medea's
Rick's gonna end
walking-
up dying, and some other white guy's gonna come in, and
It sounds like it's gonna be a Medea's walking there or something with all the black people and one white guy. Or something. You're gonna be driving in a Cadillac trying to hit these zombies and stuff. I'm telling you.
the zombie that prays.
wow. Oh, wow. A Medea in The Walking Dead. God,
In a
that's
jail.
scary.
In a jail.
Oh.
That would actually be pretty damn interesting.
Hell yeah. Tyler Perry, you need to get on it.
Walking Dead is presented by BET.
Basic black entertainment. And I messed it up, but who cares?
All the zombies will be white. I'm telling you, I'm calling right now.
It'd be a Rob Zombie band if it was all white zombies.
Oh man. All right, so it's It's like past that actual beginning. It's like not a. It's like we only saw a few major things happen in this
Right.
particular episode.
Right.
One was starting to allude to Michonne's history when she was put in a situation where she had no choice but to hold Rick's baby and started crying, and it was pretty easy to see that there were some strong emotions between Michonne and just the concept of babies, particularly losing a baby. So
Yeah.
there's something there. We
I think so.
saw. Hmm?
Yeah. I was gonna say Sophia had talked about that too. Like when a person loses a spouse, they become a widow. But when you call someone who loses, I forgot what he called, like losses a child or something. It was something that she said was actually meaningful
Yeah,
to
but you know
Michonne.
what? I'm pretty positive there is a word for that. I'm gonna Google it. Is when she said that there's no word for a parent who lost a child.
We should make one up.
It's called adoption.
We'll call it the Mullins.
Oh, you play like that, man?
Yeah.
They're not like that name.
That seems to be a good fit. It was like that's something major, and also we saw Rick finally going ahead and giving Carl back his gun and reclaiming his own gun at the same time, finally making a decision to step up. And looks like we might be about to have our old Rick and Carl back. Now the question is, the old Rick I can deal with having back. The old Carl though, he was turned into a little psycho with that gun. I don't know.
I mean, but he was actually better. I liked him better with the gun, even though he was a little psycho. But he wasn't doing nothing stupid. Now that he don't got
Right,
the gun,
he
he's doing
wasn't.
stupid stuff again.
Well, okay, here's my theory on this, and I was actually thinking about this earlier. Is one of the reasons that he was kind of going psycho is because of the fact that he had basically two fathers for a while. He had Rick and he had Shane, and Shane spent time with them, and Rick didn't have the time to spend time with them. And it was so he kind of got that Shane influence, and Rick finally realized, my kid's a little psycho, and I need to start spending time with him. I need to teach him a set of morals, and to not just kill a person outright and not feel anything. And that's why he went the farming route, is because of the fact that he saw himself not doing too well either. So he brought his son and spent time with his son, and now that he spent time with his son, I think he's going to trust his son, that his son has gotten those morals. And a lot of that is shown. The reason I'm saying this is because there was the scene where Carol asks Carl, "Where is your hat?" And Carl's all like, "It's not a farming hat." And that's kind of what clued me in on Carl realizes the difference between being a hunter and being a farmer. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was just a theme that I detected pretty early
And
on in
then
the episode.
Carl becomes more of a, what's that word, like he doesn't he's a kid who he doesn't lie to his father, so he's more of a loyal son to his father. Like when Carol said to keep between her and him, you couldn't do that because he knows that's actually lying to his own father. So I think Carl is growing more. And if we get that crazy Carl mixed with the growing Carl, I think could be interesting chemistry with that. But I'm just saying, because Carl he did tell his father about Carol, and he didn't care because, come on, look what happened.
I
You
love
know,
how they brought that hat back, because that's like the only consistent thing since day one. That
I
hat.
do I do want to say I don't think he was ever really crazy Carl. What he did was, he was a kid seeing that everybody had to make choices, and you had to do what you had to do, and um, a grown up might have made that same choice with what happened. You kind of just can't trust an outsider, especially when what was going on. So it was a decision made by a child who was just not smart enough to make that decision. So I don't actually think he was ever crazy.
Well, he's
I think
surviving. That's the thing.
I don't know. I don't think it was the decisions that made people think that he was crazy. I think it was his reaction to having to make those decisions. I mean, if
Well, yeah, he had to freaking kill his own mother. I mean, they're all crazy. They live in a world of zombies, so there's not anybody who's not crazy.
Right.
well, that's just it. Is for example, if a guy had a gun to my head and I had a gun, I would not hesitate to shoot that person. There would be no hesitation. But afterwards, I would feel bad about it. I shouldn't feel bad about it, but I would. Carl
Yeah.
didn't.
He doesn't have some.
Yeah,
He
but
doesn't
maybe
have
he
survival
shouldn't.
remorse.
Maybe he shouldn't feel bad about it in that world because in that world they're in, it is kill or be killed in a lot of situations, and there's no time to feel bad for it if you want to survive.
Right. You can't feel soft. You gotta be tough.
Humanity was gone the moment the dead started walking out of the ground. You can retain certain elements of humanity, but I don't think that's one. I don't think when death is there 24 hours a day in your face, it just becomes so much a part of life that I don't think it has such an impact.
I actually think it does. I think that maintaining your core humanity in such a situation is exactly what separates you from everyone else. The governor is the polar opposite. The governor is what you're talking about, having lost all humanity, all reason, and just going off and doing whatever he thinks he has to do in order to survive. It's like, I mean, that's that other end of the spectrum,
Yeah,
and
pretty much
that's
stopped
not a
caring.
good thing.
Yeah, he stopped caring about. He stopped caring about the living pretty much at the end of it.
But that's what they were giving us. They were giving us these two ends of a spectrum that aren't really that far off of one another's line, and because they both make messed up choices. They both do messed up things, and it's almost a lesser of two evils. Not saying that Rick's camp was ever evil, but he's had to do some things, and so then this is just a kid that was in the middle, seeing these different ways to react and kind of finding his own ground in that world.
I see what you're saying, but it's like he was going too far to the other side. He was losing too much.
Oh, true.
Mhm.
Well, that's just it. Is when this kid turns into hits puberty, and those hormones start rolling, he's gonna break one of two ways. Either he's going to turn into a compassionate leader, or he's going to turn into a psycho. I mean, it's going to happen, and Rick had to make sure that he didn't turn into a psycho.
Yeah, I can see that happen. Yeah.
Because I mean, then you're at that age. I'm going to talk for all males, even though I shouldn't. You either become like a crier, or you become very, very angry at that age. And it just
that's
depends on how you
definitely
break.
a true thing.
Yeah.
With me, I'm very, very angry. I don't get upset. I get angry. That's how I broke.
Yeah. And when you happen to have a gun at that age, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I worry
Shoot
for
first, ask
Carl,
questions last.
and I worry for Carl in the way that Rick worries for Carl. Is who is this person going to be as a man?
I actually don't worry for him anymore. It's like I think he's recovered from that. It's like, I mean, his dad has been trying to put him in situations where he's just a kid and whatnot, and obviously that's not going to work because that is just not who Carl is anymore. But I think he has a better head on his shoulders now than he did during the last season.
And
during the later part of the last season.
I like the fact that in the later part of the last season and early in this season, Carl has given his father advice, and his father has actually listened to it.
Yeah, pretty much.
He did, if I remember correctly, he did it at the end of last season, and I know he did it in this episode.
Uh-huh.
And for how old is he supposed to be? 11, 12?
Shit,
I don't know. But for a grown man to listen to his kid of that age, that's impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
That shows a lot of maturity on the level of the kid.
Couldn't agree more. I think that's all the details. So anyone have any wild speculation?
Oh, I know I do. I'm going to wait.
Uh, I
Don't
think
everybody speak at once.
I can't think of
I
anything.
have one. I think Bob's. I'm gonna say his last name wrong. Bob Stuckey or Stuckey.
Stooky.
Thank you.
Stooky.
Has a T.
Is pretty much that guy who pretty much did it. Like he had, and you barely see him in the episodes. Anyways, you saw him in one episode. He says some comment like, "Yeah, he looks kind of shady." Yeah, he's kind of shady. And plus, there's too many black people on this show. So if someone's gonna be the bad guy, it better be Bob.
Let's see. It's like I'm wondering if he might actually be in there just as a red herring for those of you that know who he is already.
No, they said he's. That's why it's so hard to speak. They flat out said he's not. They flat out said that he's the hand of the governor. Which the way they're playing out these episodes, I'm starting to wonder why they said that, because it was in all the. Well, I didn't look hard for that. It was in like just the main art, the casting news about it. I saw, oh, Bob Stuckey's cast. Let me read this article, and then the showrunners, that's what they're saying, and I just thought that was bad, because I expected him to be right out front. We would know who he is. I thought we would get the governor right away, and we would know what was going on, but I think they spoiled their own secret, and I'm sorry if I spoiled the secret for you guys.
How dare you? I'm going to bitch and complain like I'm Charles Whedon.
It's in the news media. My rule is, I think if it's in the news media, easily searchable, that it's not a spoiler.
My
Yes,
question is can that skinny black dude take
Bob Stuckey.
down? What's that?
Bob Stuckey.
Can he take down two people? And
He's
then-
lived his whole life with the name Bob Stuckey. He can kick some ass.
Right.
Oh,
I mean, for God's sake, it's Stuckey his last name. That's terrible. There's a reason why the walkers didn't eat him.
Yeah. I'm not too sold on that. It's like one person being able to take down two people, dragging both of their bodies out there and setting them on fire without anyone else seeing or noticing.
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean for that? I think he brained them. But that's, I guess, my wild speculation is, which I kind of said before, I think it's Carol. I think that they're finally going to make Carol go crazy in a different way on the show, and she will have made that decision for the group without asking anybody, and that's going to cause something. Or alternately, it's Bob Stuckey, and he went in there and he bashed their heads in, and it's just another one of the governor's moves.
I don't know. I think if you threw Carol into a field with like 5 zombies and 6 bullets in a gun, Carol will win every time. You put Carol like hand to hand with anybody, with Carl for goodness sake, and she's gonna lose.
Yeah. A matter of fact, it could be the governor there. He could be in the prison.
That would be
Short
kind of
haircut.
funny
She's
if the
gotta be
governor
tough.
were in the prison the entire time.
Yeah, because that's why Michonne can't find him. He's actually in the prison.
That would be a real treat.
Yeah, so
He'd be all set up in the warden's office.
Exactly, just watching them find out these walkers and everything.
all right, Todd, you said you had something for wild speculation?
Basically just all of that that I did say, but I don't really think he's there. My wild speculation is that he's going to, once somebody's dying next week, somebody big from the core group. We're gonna most likely get some sort of a reveal, or at least we're gonna get closer to a reveal next week for the governor's hand in this. And he's amassing an army, and once his little plan goes through, he's going to attack. That's my thing. And the baby will die.
The final showdown.
And that's going to piss Michonne even more off, because they can't do the bad thing that happens to her in the comic. So they have to have her have a real reason to cut off the governor's other eye.
That one. He was raped.
Alrighty then.
Okay. I'm actually going to stick as like for my wild speculation is like I'm sticking to what I said a moment ago, like that the Silver Bob Sticky thing is a red herring. I'm going to say that the bad things going on don't have anything to do with them, and it's someone or something else.
Well, speaking of wild herrings, or not wild
Red
herrings.
Reddington.
Yes, it's Red Reddington the entire time. No, I truly believe, and this is a long-term speculation, and it's not all that wild, Tyrese will never become the badass that we expect him to be.
Interesting.
I don't think that's coming to fruition.
I don't
think
think
it's
I
coming.
would watch the show anymore if they did that.
It may happen just now since they just killed this lover. I mean,
Exactly.
that may be the switch right there.
Showing the promos too, like okay.
I agree with what Michael just said. With Karen dead right now, it's like I think that's his turning point.
Yeah, pretty much. They're showing the promos too, by the way. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
thanks.
I
Thanks
was
for
just
spoiling
gonna say
everything,
that, Isaiah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you was right.
Very specifically why I don't watch the promos. Promos usually get pretty spoilery.
Well, yeah, because now you can figure out why he was so distraught in the car when they all are getting ambushed, and then that look of "I'm gonna kick some ass" comes on.
Very much like it's hammer time.
Yeah, it's hammer time.
Oh.
Anyone else have anything? All right, cool. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this one up for this week. Hope you all enjoyed the show. We'll, of course, be back next week to discuss episode 403, which I believe the title for that is Isolation. You can check that out on geeksoftheround.com and, of course, at youtube.com/geeksoftheround. If you have anything for us, feel free to shoot us an email, geeksoftheround@gmail.com. You can go ahead, of course, and also join the Geeks of the Round community on Google+. The link for that will be in the description for this video. My name is Deanna Jackson. See you next week.